Okay, in the previous classes, I have been discussed about the function. Basically, function in the C, we can divide a large program into basic building blocks known as functions. Just we are splitting the large program into smaller programs. Okay, that smaller programs, whenever we need that smaller program, we are invoking into the main program. We'll call that subprogram. The function can be called multiple times to provide a reusability and moderately to the C program. We can reuse that same code. No need to write once again the code in the main program. This function also called as a procedure and subroutine. Okay, basic advantage of the function is no need to rewrite the same logic and code again and again. That is a basic one advantage. We can call C function as number of times when we need it and whatever the place in the main program. We can track the larger program. That is debugging of the program is quite easy, simple. If you are divide the main program into multiple functions. The main advantage of the function is reusability is the main achievement of the C function. Already I have told that the basic difference between the C and C++. C is the functional oriented and C++ is the object oriented. Okay, C is called the functional oriented. Minimum one function should be there in when you write a program. The main is an one function. Okay, the basic drawback of the function is the function calling is always overhead in the C program. These are the three basic aspects of the C program, that functions, function declaration, function call, and function definition. The last class I have discussed these things. Just I will review these things, then we will move to the next topic. Okay, first is function declaration, function call, function definition. Okay, function declaration is the function declaration must be declared globally in the C program to tell the compiler about the function name, function parameter, and return type. Function call can be used from the anywhere in the program. And function definition, it contains the actual statement to which to be executed. Okay, this is a general syntax for the all the three aspects of the function. First is called the function declaration. Function declaration should be globally. You should first start with a return type, that is int, character, float. It's a return type. Then followed by the function name and within the bracket argument list. Then function call. Function call simply function name followed by the arguments, that is argument list and semicolon. Last is the function definition. Function definition starts with the return type, then followed by the function name, argument list, open braces, and function body, and close braces. Okay, already I have discussed the simple program for that. Syntax to create the function in the C language. First, we have to create the thing. How to create that? That is nothing but a function definition. The function definition, first we should have a return type, that is void, int, character, float, double, and return type, followed with the function name, then data type, parameters. Data type, what data type and parameters. Next is code to be executed. Below that, it is the function, creating a function in C language and defining a function in the C language. Next up, basically the function type of the function. There are two basic types of functions in C programming. First one is called the library function. Second is called the user-defined function. First one is called the library functions. Already we have been used these functions in the program. Say are the functions which are declared in the C header file, such as when you have been used include hash stdio.h, their header file, they have been included in that these functions. For example, say here we have the scanf, and printf. These are called the library functions. Already these functions have been defined in the header file. Already we have used, for example, to include stdio.h, that is header file. We have included that header file. In that header file, these functions have been predefined. These are called the library functions. They are the get ch, put ch. They are the different library functions. Next is the user defined function. User defined function, user has to define that function whenever we need, that just simply we can call. Here are the functions which are created by the C programmer who are writing the program. They can create their own functions so that he or she can use it many times. As many times we can use. That is, it reduces the complexity of a big program and optimize the code. Okay, basically we have to make a less complex with respect to the program to reduce the complexity. That means we are splitting the program into smaller one. The big program is divided, splitted, partitioned into the number of small programs. That combining of all the small program, we make in one big program. Okay, this is a function. Function can be split into two types. One is called library function. Second is called a user defined function. Next topic is the return type. Already we know that in the class in the lab we have used void. When we discuss that void return nothing. Return, when we want return nothing, then we'll use a void. Okay, the basic void type. I return type can be int, return type can be float, return type can be char, return type can be double, like that. We need to define that return type. First one is called the return type, followed by the function name. For example, here NC function may not return a value from the function. You may use a return value, may not use the return value. Okay, we'll see that later then by using the simple example, simple programs. So what is meant by the what the value we are returning, what not to return a value, like that. There are different ways are there. We'll see that. If you do not have to return any value from the function, use void for the return type. Return nothing is simply use void. Void is the return nothing. First, we have to define, when we are defining the function, first should be return type followed by the function name. First is the return type followed by the function name. The return type is here, if you use void return nothing, it says that return nothing. Let us see the example, simple example of the C function that does not return any value from the function. Here, example without return value, without return any value. Here it is some simple program, void hello. It is a return type, and hello is the function name within the open and close brackets. That is the argument need to be passed. Here there is no argument at all. Without argument, without return value, without argument. It is the type is called without return type, without arguments. Okay. Here simply you are printing hello C. Print, just simply it prints. Nothing will be returned to the back to the main program. Returning to the main program, there is no return at all. Just simply it is prints. It is one library function. It is a library function. Just it is invoke the library function. It execute that function and it prints the on a console, on the screen. If you want to okay, if you want to return any value from the function, you need to use any data type such as int in place of void, you want to return some particular type, data type, you should define that data type. Instead of void, if you want to return integer values, you should use int. Long, if you want to character, I need to return a character, then you have to define that data type in the first return type, etc. We'll see that things, how what they return, what we are returning these things. By using the example, we'll come to know, we'll understand that things. The return type depending on the value to be returned from the function. What value you are returning, you should define that data type. If you are in a function, you are returning a number 5, then you should use the int type. If you are returning an integer, you're returning a 5. I want to return a value 5 to the main function, then you should use a int. If you want to return a character, for example, A, B, C, D, any character, you want to return a value, character, then you should use a return type character. Let us see a simple example of a C function that returns int value from the function. Here, I need to give a return 10. Example, with simple example here, I have defined integer, it is a return type. Get is a function name. Get is a function name. When we are calling it, we should use get. That only get, open bracket and close bracket. Then it moves to the int get. It calls this name. Just we are calling by this name get. It execute return 10. That means return value is 10 is the type of the integer. It is a type of the integer. That value here argument passing the return value is 10. In the above example, when we have to return 10 as a value, this 10 as a value. So the return type is integer. Return type is the integer. If you want to return a floating point value, that is 10.2, 3.1, like that. If you want to return this, you should use in place of a int float. You need to use the float as a return type of the method. For example, say I want to return 10.2. When we are called, I have to return this. I have to define float type. That is based on the return value. Based on the return value, return type has to be defined. Okay. You need to call the function to get the value of the function. First, we have to call that. Then I can return the value. If without calling the function, it will not return anything. First, you have to call a function, call the function, then it executes this, it returns this value. Okay, this different aspects of the function calling. Okay, there are the 4 different aspects of the function calls. Function may not have accept any argument. It may or may not return any value. Based on this fact, there are 4 different aspects of the function call. Okay, basically there are 4 things are there. Simply function without argument. Without argument is open bracket and close bracket. There is nothing has to be argument. Without return value, without getting any return. Without argument, without return. It is the first type. First type is the without argument and without return value. It is one type. Second is without argument with return value. Okay, with return value. Second is with argument without return. And last one is with argument and with return. Okay, we'll see that what these things, what is meant by with argument and without argument. Okay, in the previous example, we have seen that it is a Here there is no argument at all. When you are passing the thing, there is no argument, but returning value. In this example, return nothing. There is no argument at all. Void hello. There is no argument within the hello, and we are not returning any value. We are not use a keyword called return. Just simply it prints. This is called the example for the no argument, no return. But this example is no arguments, no argument. The getter, there is no argument at all, but we are returning the value. Okay. In the next example, we'll see that argument as well as return. In some example, there is an argument, there is no return. Okay. Just say first example. This is a simple example function without argument and with return only. This is both the without only, without argument, without return the value. First I have to define the function declaration. It is called the declaration part. It is called the declaration part. In the declaration part, return type followed with the function name and open bracket and close bracket and semicolon. Okay. Void main is the main function. It's starting line. It is also a function call. Okay. Next, first it prints the on a screen hello. It prints the hello. Then you are call the function by name of the function. First, name of the function. Within this open bracket, there is nothing has been there. There is nothing argument is present. Within the open and close bracket, there is no argument present. Okay. This is example. In next example, we'll see that when we pass arguments, how to pass argument, we'll see that. In this example, there is no argument at all. Okay. There is no data type present inside the print name. Okay. Next, it will simply, when you call this print name, open bracket, close bracket, semicolon, when you execute this instruction statement, it seems that it is a function name. Already you have defined the function name. Void, the compiler comes to know that this print name is the function name. When invoke this print name, it has to call the function. It is called call the function. It will move to the here. It's simply the cursor. That cursor will move to the pointer program counter will move to the sub program. That is void. Void is nothing but is a return nothing. First, in the function definition, there are three things are there. One is called the function declaration. Second is called function call. Third is called the function definition. Okay, creating a function. Definition of the is creating a function. Here, when we use a void, it is called the return type followed by the function name. Here, whatever the name you are calling, that is, here in this case, you have used print name. This print name and this print name should be same. Okay, this name, that calling name should be same as in the function name, function definition name. Okay, here when we use a void, return nothing. Simply it prints the PPS on a screen. After the hello, you are printing a PPS on the screen. Once it executes, it come back to the main program. Here you are not returning any value, only you are displaying the function. Just it is one more call, one more library function. It simply invokes that library function and it executes this statement on a screen. Okay, it will not return any value. This is the example. Here just say, here we use void sum open bracket and close bracket semicolon. It is called the function. It is called the function declaration. First we have declared the function. Okay. Next, yes, simply here it is a message that print calculate the sum of two numbers. It is a message display on a screen. Just it is calculate the number of, this will be displayed on a screen. Once it has been displayed, you are calling a function. You are call the function. Sum is a function name. Function name. It will move to the, simply it will move to the here. Here also void sum within open bracket close bracket. There is no semicolon after this. ఈ తర్వాత ఫంక్షన్ లో ఇదేం సెమికాలన్ ఉండదు. ఇక్కడ ఫంక్షన్ కాల్ కి సెమికాలన్ ఉంటుంది. ఫంక్షన్ నేమ్ కి, ఫంక్షన్ కాల్ నేమ్ కి అక్కడ డిక్లరేషన్ చేసిన దాంట్లో వైడ్ నేమ్, దట్ ఫంక్షన్ నేమ్ ఓపెన్ బ్రాకెట్ క్లోజ్ బ్రాకెట్, దేర్ ఇస్ నో సెమికాలన్. ఇక్కడ కూడా అంతే ఉంటుంది. వైడ్ మెయిన్, after that is no semicolon. Similar to this is a some function starting with an, here main is an starting of the program, saying that it is a starting line, main program. Here subprogram should be initiated with the whatever your called name, and this name should be saved. Here you are called by the sum. Void is used for the return nothing, and sum is a function name. In this you have defined a different variables. In the subprogram you have defined a integer type a and b. Enter the two numbers, scanf %d ampersand at the rate a at the rate b, that is reads a value and the b value. Then print the printf. It is also a function call, library function call. The sum is the %d equal to is a plus b. Okay, here you just are entering two values 10 and 24. The 34 is being displayed on a screen. You are not been passing any value back to the main program. Simply whatever the performation will be performed here only, that will be displayed on a screen. You are not being written any value. Okay. Next example, we'll see that function without arguments and with written value. We'll use some written value back to the main program. Okay, written value is there is no argument at all. Argument means within bracket there should be something. We'll see that next example. What is passing the arguments? Argument passing is an important. Okay, here you are defining the function name. Here it is an integer type. Return type is integer. First return type followed by the function name. There is no argument at all here. In this case, int result. Result is the integer type. Print, go to the calculate the sum of two numbers. Okay, that will be displayed on a screen. Result equal to, result is an integer type. Here you are defined result equal to, you are calling the sum. You are calling the sum. It will be moved to the, when you are calling, when we are calling by name, function name is the sum. It simply moves to the here. That means here also you are defined the, here you are defined the return type. First is the return type is the integer. Return type is the integer followed by the function name. Inside it, you have defined integer a and b. Enter two numbers. Scanf %d is the value. That red values will be stored in the a and b. Then you have used the return a plus b. Perform this operation a plus b. Return back to the, where it has to return It has to return type is integer. It will perform the operation a plus b. If a is 10 and b is equal to 24, yes, the operation will be performed. That is 34. This 34 is the integer type. This 34 is the integer type. It has to return to the where you are called. It is return to the where you have been called. Here called is returning back to the in this. It will simply returns this value 34 here. The result equal to will store the 34. Return the value. Value is been returned. In this case, this 34 is returned to the sum. Okay. Simply, it is also by using the return type only. Here, the integer is the square. You just call the square of the function, and let's say we will see in the next class. I will explain this program.